Ripple's CEO just hinted at a move that might change the game and send shockwaves across the crypto market. We're talking about the hypothetical burning of a huge amount of XRP that is kept in escrow, maybe even up to 50% of the total supply. If that happens, it might be one of the largest supply shocks in the history of cryptocurrency. Some experts do think that this might make the price of XRP go up to $1,000 or more per token. But is it possible? Is Ripple really going to destroy billions of XRP? And what would that entail for your investments? Let's take it all apart. To get to the bottom of this hubbub, we should first look into Ripple's escrow structure. Ripple locked up 55 billion XRP, which is more than half of the total supply of the coin, in a series of smart contracts in 2017. Every month, 1 billion XRP is released from escrow. Ripple can either use that XRP or send it back to the escrow if they don't need it. This technique was created to make things more predictable and keep XRP from being dumped on the market, which would hurt its price. Critics, on the other hand, say that the escrow has always kept the price down, making it harder for XRP to rise during bull runs. That's why the XRP community has been asking Ripple for a long time to do more, like burn some of the escrowed supply. In simple terms, a burn permanently takes tokens out of circulation, which lowers the overall quantity and makes them more rare. In the world of cryptocurrency, the idea of a token burn isn't new. After starting burn mechanisms, we've witnessed tokens like Shiba Inu and Binance Coin go up a lot. In those situations, taking away even a small amount of the total supply made the price go up a lot. Now think about Ripple burning 50% of the 55 billion XRP that are still in escrow. That would be about 27 billion 500 million tokens that will never be used again. That's a lot. Supporters say that this would quickly raise the price by lowering the amount of goods accessible. And with banks, CBDC pilots, and cross-border payment networks all wanting more, that supply shock could make prices go through the roof. Because XRP has a predetermined maximum supply of 100 billion tokens, this kind of shift would be permanent and historic. Let's talk about numbers. To think about XRP's possible future value, we need to know how its supply and demand work. If Ripple burnt half of the XRP that was held in escrow, the amount of XRP that was available would go down a lot. The market could change a lot because of this drop in supply. Let's imagine we went from about 55 billion XRP to 27.5 billion XRP. This huge drop would make everything scarce. If demand stays the same or goes up, the price could change to show the new scarcity. Using fundamental supply and demand concepts, this shift would likely make investors and traders respond, which might drive the price up. And if XRP gets even a small part of the global remittance and FX markets, $1,000 per token is a reasonable long-term guess. This scenario depends on XRP being used and integrated into these huge financial systems, which could take years, but it isn't impossible. This is the math. If XRP's market valuation reached $27.5 trillion, which is a lot, it would indicate that each XRP would cost $1,000, based on a supply of 27.5 billion. That's more than the current global crypto market size, but it's not completely out of reach in a world where tokenized finance and CBDCs are the future. That's the most optimistic view. But even the most cautious forecasts say that XRP will be worth between $10 and $100 if a lot of it is taken off the market and more people start using it. This is where we need to be careful. Ripple has not yet formally said that it plans to burn any escrowed XRP. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, has heard what the community wants. But Ripple has always said the XRP ledger itself lets tokens be burned, and validators might vote to let this happen, but it hasn't happened yet. That said, Ripple has been very adaptable in the past, adjusting with the cryptocurrency industry as it changes. It gave back unused escrowed XRP to keep the market stable, kept thorough transparency reports to establish trust with its stakeholders, and even changed how it distributed XRP to adapt to changes in the market, showing that it was very aware of the economic situation. Ripple has been proactive in its methods because investors are putting more pressure on them and they need to stand out in a competitive industry. Ripple may think about a burn in the future, which might have a big effect on the supply and demand for XRP. This kind of effort might be quite helpful if it helps more institutions use Ripple and makes investors more confident, which would strengthen Ripple's position in the market. Timing is another reason why this conversation is getting more attention now. The biggest series of escrow releases so far happened in the fourth quarter of 2023. Ripple is also said to be getting ready for an IPO in the US, extending its alliances with CBDCs and getting greater clarification on the law after winning part of its case against the SEC. Could Ripple employ a supply burn as a way to get more investors or customers? Could it time a burn to happen at the same time as its IPO to get more money and put XRP in the news? These aren't definite, but they make sense given Ripple's past and the time of year. So what does this mean for you, the investor, the believer, and the XRP army? The world of cryptocurrencies is always changing, and XRP is no different. The stakes are higher than ever because a token burn might happen. Should you buy more XRP in case of a possible burn, or should you spread out your investments to lower your risks? Should you wait for Ripple to confirm? The next move the corporation makes could have a big effect on the market. No one really knows what Ripple will do. There is a lot of speculation, but not much real information. But one thing is clear. The escrow system is getting more attention than ever from both regulators and investors. Big changes are coming, so it's important to stay up to date. XRP's future could be very different, and the choices you make today could affect your finances in the future. If Ripple ever does decide to burn some of the escrow, whether it's 5%, 25%, or 50%, the price might change a lot. For now, keep an eye on things, be careful, and be ready. The XRP environment is changing quickly, so you'll want to be ahead of the game if a burn ever happens. If you thought this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and tell another XRP holder about it. Leave your price forecast in the comments. If Ripple burns the escrow, do you believe XRP can reach $1,000? And don't forget to sign up for updates so you can keep up with this story. This movie is strictly for educational and informational purposes. This is not financial advice. Do your own research and talk to a financial advisor before you make any investing decisions.